Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospects and Show 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Sam.
and we're going to be attempting, at least, hopefully, to watch some Jaylen Waddle with you guys today. He is
My
a,
favorite receiver in college football.
he is a wide receiver from the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. And,
Blah.
hmm,
It's a gross moment.
what was?
Alabama.
Oh. So yeah, both of us are relatively familiar with him. You probably a little bit more so, but of course they did play U of M last year in the bowl game. So we know a little bit about what Jalen can do from that experience as Michigan fans. But today we're going to be taking a little bit more of a neutral film approach to his game and watching him versus Auburn last year. And we do have, finally, some 2020 tape up, which is nice, from his game against Missouri. So, Sam, what do you expect to see out of Waddle today over the course of these two games?
Okay, so out of Jaylen Waddle, pretty much what you're going to expect to see is arguably someone that I think is better than Henry Ruggs. Not quite Jerry Judy, I don't think, but probably better than Henry Ruggs. He's got nearly the same speed Henry Ruggs does. Expect him to run like low 4.3s, around that 4.3 flat area. Extremely good technician with route running. He finds pretty much any way possible to get separation, whether it's downfield or underneath. He's extremely elusive after the catch. He's near Jerry Judy after the catch, and that's why he also does kick returns and punt returns for them.
Okay.
Uh, Crazy fast acceleration. I mean, you're just gonna see him. You're gonna see him make unbelievable plays where you don't understand how he got that wide open. He's cooking people down the field. Extremely high IQ player with where to stop his routes, etc. So I mean, you're gonna honestly, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun watching him.
Excellent. Well, you said a lot of stuff that I like. Especially over the course of the last couple of years, I've really been focusing on receivers on this channel for a number of reasons. Mainly because I like watching corners, for one. So kind of trying to learn the opposite side of the ball, and over the course of time, I've come to love watching receivers on the other side too. So yeah, it sounds like we're in for a lot of fun here. Hopefully, we can get this stuff to load. We've had a little bit of technical difficulties before trying to record. Uh, so that's kind of unfortunate, but
Hi, I'm Chris Rock.
oh,
Oh, it's not about.
did you just see the ad?
And I did not.
Okay, good.
Oh God, what was it? Was it bad?
um, well, I think we're about to see it, which is kind of
Me. I
unfortunate.
get it. No.
Oh,
Zoom in on it. The new iPhone 12
It's not
Pro
like
with
the worst one
5G
I've
meets
ever seen as the
Verizon
iPhone ad.
5G. 5G just got real,
oh,
man.
okay.
Pow.
A little over 3 minutes to get the Cardinals some field goal.
Slide to mute it though, because obviously we can't do this. Sound on. So yeah, as we get started here, it looks like as you said, we are going to see a punt or kick return. Well, actually, you know what? This is probably a highlight at the start because this is a highlight page. So they're probably going to start with like the best player or whatever.
Yeah, that's what because it's second quarter.
I want to try to.
His burst is just so quick. I don't know where Bama's be finding these receivers, man. They just pull them out of the woods. I swear. Different breed of athlete.
Yeah, it's interesting because Geddes, of course, was their wide receiver coach. I'm sure you know all about that.
Right.
So he was the one who was helping recruit some of these guys in.
Yeah.
Did they just not play him in the first quarter?
Got no clue. I mean, this is last year, so he was, a wide receiver 3 or 4 on the depth chart.
Yeah. Okay, another kickoff. Are we going in reverse?
This one is like a minute later in the game, so Auburn must have scored defensively. Oh, and there goes that man.
Oh,
No one's going to catch him.
I mean, the kicker tried. Like, good for him. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, going back, because for some reason my computer just does not like me today. As you know already, Sam. So, first thing we can really talk about here is just the moveset and the change of direction. Like, I mean, he literally is like a running back.
Yeah, no, it's otherworldly how quick he can stop and start. That's what I was mentioning. He's like Judy after the catch with his stop and start, his change of direction. It's otherworldly.
Oh, God dang it. So yeah, just letting you guys know, if you're having issues with buffering, that is my screen. That is most likely not yours. So like, yeah, like watch this cut, boom, just completely just.
And he hardly slows down, and then he's right back to full speed.
Oh, we're gonna see it again. Okay, cool. Yeah, like right. Oh, for some reason my pause button's not working. I'm just gonna have to click instead, which is fine. Yeah, that one right there, boom, just completely.
It's so clean.
Yikes. He's been pretty good this year, if I remember correctly, so far.
I believe he's actually been pretty solid for the boys. For the Cowgirls. I was pretty high on him coming out, so.
Same here. I think I had him CB2 behind Okuda, if I remember correctly.
I think he was my CB3 behind Gladney and Okuda.
Okay, so unfortunately we don't get broadcast film, which I've been getting used to watching NFL tape the last few months. So we're not going to see how he gets open.
Right.
But, like, I mean, we do see that distance between him and the corner.
I mean, that looks like a slant route almost. I don't know if they were playing like off coverage or.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Some kind of curl would be my guess.
Yeah, I guess that's. Yeah, it is like a little curl. Like, geez, man, how do you do that?
Oh, there we go. Yep, I was right. Curl route.
And then he just outruns everybody.
It helps that they're playing him off.
For
and you have
sure.
to respect that vertical seam ability.
But I mean, right? How is he not tackled here? Like,
I think the one guy just doesn't even try.
he's not even right out of bounds.
It looks like 21 could have got him. Oh, no, maybe not. There's some space there.
Just that same stance every time, too.
Derek Brown.
What a big boy.
Also off to a very good start for Carolina so far.
Yeah, rough couple weeks, but then turning around big time.
Which is fair. You're going to see that from rookie in your COVID year.
Right.
Okay. Okay, nice ball tracking. So he's going to be the slot receiver here on the left.
Yep.
And it looks like a little bit of
arrow
a...
route.
Yep. And just nice ball tracking. Slides in right underneath. Okay, nice. Love to see those hands catches.
And I like the awareness too. Knows where he is on the field.
Boundary. Okay.
Yeah. Unless Waddle is kicking this extra point, can we show extra points?
Oh, wow, he actually got both feet in. That was very nice.
Like to see that. Yeah, that little drag. You like to see that. As Nate Burleson would call it, the toe drag swag.
Yep. To be fair, that was a pretty good throw from Mac, too.
That was good placement.
Okay, back again.
So he just burnt someone deep.
Yeah, he just destroyed this guy. So he's going to be the slot receiver. And one thing that's really interesting about this play is, unfortunately, we're not going to see it from snap to snap, like from snap to end of play.
Right.
They're kind of like already going. But look at, like, he's not even at the line of scrimmage, and he's already close to full speed.
Yeah, I mean, that burst is ridiculous, man. I mean, that corner is still, if he's not already turning his hips, he's going to be cooked. And like, how do you stop that? You know? 'Cause, I mean, he's playing 5 yards off, and he has to turn his hips immediately.
And yeah, and he opens up actually the right side. He just doesn't have like recovery speed.
Yeah, 'cause, I
So
mean,
it's gonna
Waddle's
be,
already going full speed, which is 4.3 caliber.
yeah, and like you're gonna see even at this point in the play, it's pretty close. But then he just like, it's kind of off camera, but I don't know if you can see it right before I posted. He's already got.
He already got a couple yards, and he's just gone.
Now, unfortunately, Mac underthrows this one a little bit.
Yeah, that was underthrown. But we get to see the hands.
And more importantly for me on this kind of play is the ball striking ability.
Yeah, for sure.
You really just get to see him take that, and like he gets this corner to bite early too. That's not the best timing, I would say, on that jump for the corner, because like look at how late the corner is to get to this.
Right. Then there's that stance again.
But yeah, he's able to get up there.
Oh, he's got nasty hops too. Like he's just a pure athlete.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, like he wasn't
Right
even
there.
ready for that. Beautiful.
Yep.
And the concentration to hold on to it to the ground too. Guy draped all over him.
Okay, and a punt return. So yeah, unfortunately this isn't like full tape, but
We take what we can get.
I was hoping we would see a punt return. Oh my god, really?
Wow.
Okay, that was an interesting ending to a game. That would be so Lions.
I actually remember that happening because I was watching that game live.
Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately that wasn't like the best tape ever in terms of like getting to see a lot of different things, but we did get to see a couple of plays at least. So is there anything that kind of stood out to you?
Stood out, no, but I mean, I feel like I'm just kind of like I would just be repeating what I already said before the video. Like, I mean, I feel like everyone kind of saw what I was preaching about beforehand.
Yep. Okay, so this one actually just came out yesterday, so this should be nice. This is from 2020, and this looks like it's going to be a little bit more of an actual tape film cut up. So okay. Okay, got the first time marker. Okay, so he's going to be the slot receiver on the left. Nice job, John double. And he's right here. Yep, motion.
He's in motion. To him.
Same thing.
Motion again. This time he's a decoy. That was him in the slot.
Motion guy again.
He actually did a nice double move there.
What I would have liked to have seen on this play, this is a Lions concept. Actually, this is a Pride of Detroit. My goodness, why can't I think of that? Pride of Detroit actually did a really nice piece on this. So this is a concept that the Lions run, not the one that you're seeing here. Well, what Detroit does off of this is they're going to bring like the outside receiver in motion here, right? And then what they're going to do is while he's still in motion, they're going to bring him on the cross, on the drag, underneath the linebackers. And like, for example, Jamal Agnew. We do this with, or even sometimes TJ in the red zone, or I think we did it with DeAndre Swift once or twice. You just bring him down on the drag underneath, and it opens us up for easy rack down the opposite boundary.
Right.
So like right here, if you were to cut this like probably at the 25, and just came down, especially with these linebackers blitzing, there's a ton of space right here.
Yeah.
Especially with Waddle's speed. So that would have been nice to see. Hopefully, Bama does that at some point in the year. Takes a page out of the Darrell Bevel playbook. Literally. Okay. Interesting decision with the guy coming over the top. Oh.
My God.
Okay, then.
That is remarkable.
So, yeah, the one thing that I've really been talking about, and actually, I don't think you said anything about this before the video, which is kind of interesting, is the ball tracking ability.
Yeah, no, I really didn't say anything about that.
You're definitely seeing his ability to really find and play the ball in the air at an elite level.
Doing that extremely well.
That was nice, too. Just excellent.
And that route's just sharp. It's clean.
Shout out to Alabama for giving the wide receiver the, oh my goodness, for giving the wide receiver the number 4 the year after Judy.
Right.
Oh my goodness, how was he that open? Sheesh. That's a cool concept.
I like that.
That
Is
is.
he in? Yeah, he's in.
So another thing here, as we're going to talk about, is the ball tracking. Not the best throw from Mac. Puts this quite a bit out in front of him.
And he gets right under it going full speed.
And yeah, he just tracks that, and then nice hands to complete that process of the catch. Fumbles it around a little bit, but like, not really the point.
What I think is underrated from the terms of catching is not only catching it with your hands every time we're watching him catch, but it's also you can see it. You know he has pure trust in his hands. Like he's never questioning if he's going to catch it or not.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of that confidence from like a mental standpoint.
True. Screen. Tons of space. Oh my.
Good cut outside.
Oh
Wow.
my.
Jesus.
So as you talked about before, the run after catch ability here is very impressive. For sure.
And this time just do it to Devontae Smith.
Okay, so one thing that we don't really get the chance to see a whole heck of a lot on receiver tape, at least when I'm doing these breakdowns, is the receiver blocking ability, which is something that we look for as Lions fans. And looks like Waddle's actually going to do a pretty good job on this play.
That's a really good block.
Right here. And he stays engaged and keeps that defender away from the play. And same thing here, he's going to get engaged and put in that effort there. So that's definitely not looking like that should be an issue for him going forward either. Jeez.
Great throw, but wow.
And I'm going to keep bringing this up every time he does it with the ball tracking. Just the ability to find and play the ball, and he times this beautifully. As you mentioned, a really good throw. But Waddle just, I mean, look at where that is. He's completely, like, he's almost like posting up for this ball.
I was just about to say he's boxing out. He's shielding the defenders away.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Boxing out, not posting up. But yeah, it's like
it's beautiful.
It's excellent ball tracking. He's just elite at finding the ball in the air. Which is funny because you normally expect to see that with someone who is more like your Kenny Galladay, like your contested catch type of
your guy whose job is to go up and get the ball.
Yeah, whereas with Waddle, he's going to be more like your speed threat guy. So it's almost. I'm going to kind of give my comp away a little bit early, seeing how like we're that far from the end of the video anyway. It's almost like what I expected to see from a guy like Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Like when he was at Oklahoma.
I mean, I like him far more than Hollywood Brown, to be fair.
Hollywood had the injuries and was a little bit smaller, are the main two things that kind of stand out to me.
Yeah.
As differences. That was late. And
I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what Hollywood ran for the 40,
He
but
didn't because he was out
okay.
with the
Because
play.
I think Waddle might be faster too. I think he's a little bit faster than Marquise.
He's not slow though. Like, he was probably like 4.3,
Marquise
5
is
guy.
not slow at all. That's more of a compliment to the Waddle, is how good at everything he seems to be. Because Waddle can absolutely fly.
Interesting. So this is actually pretty cool route concept. So what they're going to do is, instead of bringing Waddle on the drag like we would do, what they're going to do is Alabama is actually going to do the opposite here.
They're going to bring number 8 on the drag.
They're going to, well, yes, in a way, but also not entirely the point. They're going to do a flood concept here. They're going to attack this with all 3 levels. So they're going to have the drag, as you mentioned, but also they're going to have Waddle at the first down marker here on the third to convert the third, and they're going to have the deep option here with, I'm guessing that's Devontae Smith. So you get to see the level here with 8, and then you get to see the level with Waddle at the marker, and then you're going to see the deep route here about 20 off to attack that downfield concept. And then even this guy is end up coming back too. So that's all flood concept, and you actually are able to get the deep route. That's a great play call by whoever Alabama's OC is now.
I can't. It's the same guy who was calling plays with Gaddis. I don't recall what his name is.
Jeez, nice catch. Was that Jaylen? No, it's not.
Jalen's in the slot right there on the left.
They do seem to be playing him inside quite a bit, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he has a lot of versatility.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily relegated to play inside.
Is this Talua in?
Talia, I think so, yeah.
This is where I'm not expecting a whole lot of passing at this point.
Nice contested catch. So one thing that I'm looking to see more of going forward, of course we only got to watch the little tiny bit of the one game and not really getting like the full angles on this. So one thing I'm going to have to go back and watch for on All-22, and I do that later on in the year, is Jaylen Waddle's release moves.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be playing him off a significant portion of the time.
Right.
Which makes sense, of course, because you have the speed factors and so on and so forth. But what we're not really seeing as a result of that is how he's able to beat press and redirect.
Yeah.
So like here he just kind of sideswipes, but this corner is already moving inside anyway, so it's not like he's really trying to beat the guy off the line, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'd like to see a little bit more, not necessarily saying he's bad or he needs to improve it, just in terms of repetitions and volume, quantity.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything to go off of.
Yeah, we'd like to see a little bit more of the release moves, specifically with the hand usage.
Yeah. And obviously that's not his fault. It's just the way he's being played.
And it's not even necessarily the way he's being played, it's just like a me thing. Like with the tape, the amount of tape that we were seeing on camera. Which is why I said one of the things I'm going to have to go back and look for off camera when we do All-22. But like, yeah, look at that. He's just, they're not even trying to contest this. Because they slide him inside for a blitz, for a run gap. So the only guy who can possibly cover him here is the safety who's already moving out. So it's like, there's literally no one defending him. Because the corner was so bad at diagnosing run pass. Or was told wrong that it was going to be a run play. unfortunately, that's a terrible throw, especially on a third down. Well, maybe it was a design blitz play.
That's the turning point of the game right there.
35-13 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth.
The big momentum shift that Mizzou needed.
So, that's probably one of the biggest question mark at this point, personally.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing we don't entirely get to see from him. At least out of one game.
Yep. So yeah, what I'm going to do here, I'm not even really going to just show anything in particular. I'm just going to go over this loosely in my doc on my other device here. So we have Jaylen Waddle here, wide receiver from Alabama. Role looks like he's going to be. I'm just going to qualify him right now as a do-it-all slot receiver.
Okay.
Concerns? I don't think he's anything particularly small. He's only like 5'11".
5'10", maybe? Let's see. Jaylen Waddle was 5'10".
Okay, yeah, I mean a little small, but it's not like he's Penny Hart with like 3-inch arms.
He's 5'10", about 185.
Well, I'm not really too sure about the weight. Nothing really with character or any issues like that I know of.
Yeah, no.
Obviously not an athletic issue.
Are you sure?
Don't really think they have any issues with playbook or system translation, as we've seen from Ruggs this year among a whole host of other Alabama receivers. They don't really have any issues translating. Don't really have any issues with mental toughness or intangibles of any kind. However, I will actually be giving him 2 grade codes because I would love to see him in Detroit next year. So he is absolutely getting an L for Lions target.
I would absolutely love him in Detroit.
And
They would go crazy.
He will also be getting an S code for special teams ability. Because he can absolutely play special teams.
He indubitably can.
So with that, my player comp, as I just mentioned, is going to be Hollywood Brown. Just love to see the separation factor. Hollywood was actually really fun to watch. I think that video is still probably somewhere up on a couple of years ago. But I really enjoyed watching him a lot that year. He made some plays, and it wasn't necessarily within the offense either, which is the same thing with Waddle. Right, you know what's funny is we just talked about this in the group chat, was it today or yesterday?
About what?
About how it's the receivers who we talked about originally with Ohio State.
Yeah, that was earlier today.
Okay,
We
yeah.
talked about receivers making the system.
Yes, exactly. I think that Waddle and Hollywood are both examples of that.
Yeah.
With Waddle, it's not necessarily the system that's kind of putting him in those positions. It's him that's making the plays out of the play calling and kind of making the most out of what he's been given. With Hollywood,
I think it's also what they look for in terms of what they want to build their scheme around, because obviously as soon as Gaddis got to Michigan, we've already recruited 2 receivers who can run under a 4-4. So you're looking at those guys who, instead of recruiting people like Tariq Black and Nico Collins, we're recruiting people who can separate and are a little bit smaller and are extremely quick.
Interesting. I haven't paid too much attention to the recruiting side yet. But yeah, that's very interesting.
Keep it like Sandstrill, for example.
Oh, Sandstrill, yeah.
He's a quicker guy. And we recruited. I think he's going to be a freshman this year. I don't know if he'll be redshirted or not. Honestly, I would assume he would be with COVID.
Well, everyone gets that extra year anyway, so we wouldn't bring a red shirt.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. But yeah, there's a couple guys we recruited that are just extremely quick. So I think that's what Gaddis is looking for.
So yeah, and the same kind of thing with Hollywood at Oklahoma. Everyone talks about, oh yeah, the Lincoln Riley system, blah blah blah. I think him and CD, especially with what we're seeing this year, I think him and CD are significant portions of why that system was able to work. And we're seeing CD Lamb have success in Dallas, and we're seeing Hollywood Brown have success with Lamar, obviously down the field in his arm strength in Baltimore. So. Very interesting to kind of see the similarities there. I definitely think he would be a great fit in the Baltimore offense too, man. Ooh,
Yeah,
could
you
you
would.
imagine him opposite?
That would be
Oh,
absolutely terrifying, and I don't want to wish that into existence.
well, hopefully he doesn't make it to Baltimore because they should be picking third
Yeah,
along
I don't. I
29.
see him going in that range where like Judy and Lamb went this year, that mid-teens.
Yep. Yeah. So, well, with that
At
in mind,
Detroit, at Bob Quinn, if you're still there, probably not.
we'll see. We'll end up discussing that in a little bit. I have plans to kind of go over that on the channel. So yeah, definitely some interesting teams that'll be picking in the teens range. No idea what's going on with San Francisco this year. Wouldn't that be interesting? Him and Debo Samuel. So that could be another interesting fit there. Rams are looking pretty good. Probably not them. Arizona, opposite of DeAndre Hopkins, they're not as good as I thought they would be this year
Right.
so far. Since they played the Lions and Matt Patricia kind of figured out that offense, they've struggled a little bit over the last couple weeks. So, yeah, and there's a lot of teams that I think could really use a guy like Waddle to add that speed threat to their offensive potential there.
Right.
So, biggest strength for me is probably going to be the ball tracking. Just the ability to find the ball in the air, run underneath the ball, and really utilize that element of his game. Biggest weakness mark as we talked about is going to be those release moves. Uh, Definitely getting off the line. Want to see that a little bit more. And that's again, we're seeing the burst off the line. We're seeing that speed threat where he just like blows by people off the line. But it's about the hand usage, the footwork, uh, and things like that that I really want to just see a little bit more of in terms of volume myself.
Yeah.
Floor ceiling, I'm going high.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Bust potential, going to be a little bit just based on the nature of where he's going to be drafted, but I would still say relatively low, about 10%.
I think that's fair.
Games watched, we'll go. What was the first one? Auburn. Auburn 8-19. I'll throw Michigan on there just so I have a third game. So I will end up going back later, updating this a little bit. So I have 220 games. And Missouri 20. I just spelled Missouri wrong. That's sad. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is catching ability. So this is everything from contested catches to catching with the hands to drop rate, all those types of things. Really, the process of completing the catch from getting your hands on the ball to when you stand up and give the ball to the referee.
So, I mean, are you counting like ball tracking in that or no?
Yes, because that would be a part of, in some ways, contested catching, but
Okay.
it sets up for the catch point. It's not necessarily like run after catch or like mental traits.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it could technically fall under mental too, because like it's the whole awareness thing. So yeah, it'll probably be considered under mental, but yeah, I'm going to consider that as part of the hands as well. So we're going to go with a 24, which is an A, and a
That's
C.
also what I gave him.
Run after catch, yeah, 24 again, for sure. Which is also an A and a
So
16.
that is where we differ a tiny bit in our grade. Is I put like run after catch. I kind of summed all that up into athleticism.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, right after catch, athletic, it includes athletic ability.
Right.
It's just more like, does he also have the ability to make people miss in space?
Yeah.
Not
That's why I went with
just
like
running
the
past
broad
people?
term, and I kind of just included all in that one category.
Right, but like I don't have necessarily a spot for like athleticism
Right.
or a spot for like size. I kind of just include size and with contested catching ability, which is hands. So, because like I mean, if you think about it, how much does size really matter at receiver outside of arm length, like wingspan, to be able to catch balls further away and like contested catch situations?
I mean, it really doesn't matter a whole lot, especially in Waddle's case, because that's not his job.
Right. So like factoring in like height by itself or even weight, like we've seen undersized receivers like Hollywood have success. So
Right.
I'm not really worried about weight. And of course, you can put on weight and muscle too when you get an NFL training
I mean,
program.
I'm sure he will.
Which yeah, so I'm not worried about that or anything for most guys. Maybe for like your defensive tackles or like your offensive linemen, like your big guys, you need to have size. Uh, but like for a wide receiver, I mean, as long as you're not like getting crushed and destroyed and breaking yourself every other play, the size really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I mean, maybe that's just like a modern thing. Maybe I'm alone in that thinking, but um, like, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Now, it can be an advantage if you're a guy like Kenny Galladay who's like 6'3" and can come down with those, or Kelvin Johnson like 6'6", like 230 or whatever he was. Like, then
Right.
yeah, it's an obvious advantage, but that advantage plays into other things. Are you athletic for your size? Can you catch well because of your size? Things like that. It's not, do you have size? It's, do you use your size well? Big difference there.
Indeed.
Because that's how you end up with guys like Stephen Hill. Do you remember Stephen Hill?
Very minimally.
Okay, yeah, he was like this. Basically, he was supposed to be the next Calvin Johnson. He literally came out of Georgia Tech. And he was like 6'5", like 220-ish, if I remember correctly. He ran like a 4.25-ish 40.
Oh, that's right.
Or something stupid. It was under 4.3, if I remember correctly. And it was like, oh my god, he's going to be the next Calvin Johnson. And they wanted the Jets as like a second round pick because he had like the size, he had the speed, everything like
Right.
that. But he just could not run routes. And he had the catching issues, if I remember correctly, too. So it was one of those instances where you can burn a guy downfield as often as you want, and you can have the size to be able to catch contested catches, right? So you can do both. You have the speed to be able to burn guys downfield and the ability to can make those contested catches with the size. But if you're not able to catch the ball when you're open or when you're contested, or run routes to separate short and intermediately, uh, you're kind of one-dimensional. So
Right.
with Waddle, going back to the main point here, getting to see look the opposite of that. Not the 6'5" beastly type of guy, but he has the athleticism to be able to change the direction, to be able to make those moves,
Right.
so on and so forth. So, which plays directly into the technical aspect. So my first two categories, hands and right after catch. Third one is just summed up as technique. So this is everything from route running to release moves to separation to hand usage to ability to impact all three levels of the field, short, intermediate, deep. All that stuff is all encompassed in technique. So for now we're going to go with a 22 here, which is a B and 6.7, mainly because I want to see a little bit more of those release moves and stuff like that. And then finally is mental traits. So this is ability to recognize coverage, ability to like sit in on routes. Obviously, all that's per coverage recognition. Uh, Leverage, knowing where the defender is on the field, knowing how to beat different alignments. Uh, Versatility, can you line up inside and out? All the kind of things that don't really play into what you do as like a after the catch or catching the football. Uh, those types of things. They're all kind of involved in that mental game. So for him, I'm going to go with a 23, which I believe is an A. I have to double check. It's borderline. Yes, it's borderline A. Okay, so 23, which is an A, which means he gets a 6.8. So, one sentence summary on Waddle for me is do it all wide receiver who possesses elite athleticism and versatility. So, overall grade is -1, -2, -5, 6, 7. So that would be a 93. Which is, of course, an A. And that's a 6 point. I'm not going to go 6.9, but like, I'll go like a 6.85, I guess. Because it's going to end up getting really tight if I do just tenths. So, your thoughts? Have you had the time to go over your grade?
I mean, we graded them pretty similar. For the technical aspect, I gave him a 22. Hands, I gave him a 24. Athleticism, I gave him a 24. And for mental traits, I gave him a 24.
Okay, so 1 point higher on the mental is the only difference.
Yep.
So, yeah, basically the same.
Yeah, and I mean, I gave him a 94 out of 100 compared to a 93. So, I mean, take with that what you will.
And I honestly think that it's obviously we've gotten a chance to watch Waddle more than just what we saw today too, which is fine. Kind of formulating my grade a little bit off of that experiences too. Got to see him when watching Judy tape, got to see him when watching Tua tape, got to see him when watching just Alabama football games last year, specifically the bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, I watched over the last 2 years. I've watched at least 6 or 7 Alabama games a year, so I've seen plenty of Alabama.
Yep.
And I mean, I loved Waddle since 2018. I mean, even when his role wasn't even that huge, he was fun to watch, especially because I mean, he was a special team starter from day one in terms of returning punts and kicks. So
makes sense to me. So, is there anything else that you have that you would like to add about our guy here, Mr. Jaylen?
with a last name like Waddle, you would not expect someone to run sub 4.3.
Okay. So, I wanted to let that sink in a little bit.
I deserve the awkward silence.
So, with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, learned a thing or two along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. It's been really difficult to kind of, well, first off, be in the mood for college tape with the weird scheduling things that have been going on due to COVID. But we're watching some guys on the side as well. Watching some football on Saturdays, specifically Keelan. I think you have been too, Sam.
Yep.
So we're definitely watching some guys for sure over the course of live games. But yeah, so we're gonna end up getting back into this a little bit more once things start to settle down a little bit. Big time football should be starting up, I think, next week.
Michigan football starts the 24th.
So yep, next week. So that'll be fun, kind of getting that side of things back into play. Ohio State guys are going to be fun. Pac-12 football, I think it starts the first week of November, if I remember correctly. So that should be coming up relatively soon as well.
Yep.
What'd you say?
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that should be help kind of establish a little bit of normalcy, and hopefully by then we'll have some more SEC tape and some more ACC tape. Uh, and a lot of it too, I think for me, at least part of it, is kind of wanting to play a little bit more of a wait and see for what the Lions are going to be like.
Right.
Because at this point, I really have no idea. Like the first 4 games is such a really awkward sample. Well, just
Yeah,
the way that
it
the
is.
Lions season has played out, like the Bears game was literally that close. And even the Saints game, like you saw the picture I sent in the group chat, like we were that
Yeah.
close to at least having a shot to win at the end of the game.
I mean,
So,
that's why I said earlier in the group chat. I mean, with a Stafford that isn't, fighting and scratching and clawing to be back in the top 10 conversation with the year he's had, we're probably 3-1 if he's last year's Stafford.
well, yeah, at least 3-1. I
I
don't
mean,
know
the
about the
Packers
Packers
game,
game. That
I'm
was,
not gonna make any excuses for we should have
that
won that
was
because we got ran over.
literally clobbered. Yeah, that was inexcusable. Uh, but yeah, it's been very interesting for sure to kind of go over and like I mean, if we keep losing games, even if it's like that, like even if it's like just that one bad play, if we go 1-15, even if it's one play every single game, it will make a dang bit of difference. The whole entire house is getting cleaned out.
Exactly.
Whereas if we turn that one play around, we're picking in the 20s. We're a playoff team.
Yep.
So it's kind of just like, oh, I really don't know. And then if we have a regime change, obviously the defense is going to be at least somewhat different, specifically the linebackers, which is going to be our biggest need.
Yeah.
So there's that whole
Thank
element.
God.
And
Get them out of here. Get our linebackers out of here.
are we going to be in a position to land on Micah Parsons? Are we going to be in a position to maybe we keep someone like I mean, who knows? Maybe we hire an offensive line and we keep Unling at DC or something wild like that.
Right.
And like for the system thing, and like we go after a guy like Waddle with the top 10-ish pick. There's because our wide receiver room is a mess next year too. I don't know if you've
Yep.
noticed.
I mean, especially if we have a regime change, I don't think anyone's staying except maybe Cephas. Maybe Cephas.
I don't even think anyone's staying, even if we keep this regime. I don't think Bob Quinn's bringing back Kenny G at this point. Certainly not
Yeah,
this
it
season.
doesn't. I feel like they would have had a deal done already.
Yeah, so I even with keeping Bob Quinn in company, I think wide receiver is going to be very high on our list uh, next off season or this coming off season, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited about Waddle and
Yeah.
what we're seeing from him is I really do think he's the type of guy that would be a very fun fit for the types of vertical concepts that we like to run. And even on
Hmm.
that shallow cross play I was talking about, you know what those other receivers are doing on that play? They're running those vertical stunts. They're
Right.
clearing that underneath option out for your motion guy on that drag. So uh, running those deep concepts has been a very important part of what we saw from the Lions' success in 2019, and a big reason why the Lions failed so far on offense in 2020. Stafford executing throws between 15 and 30 yards against Chicago. He was relatively fine week one. He has been 5 of 26, I think it was, on throws of 15 plus yards downfield in the first 4 games of the season, including all 5 on throws of 30 plus yards.
Yep.
So it's been a big reason why the Lions' offense is not near what it was in 2019. Is the failure of those particularly intermediate passes where there's a little bit more volume, but also on those deeper passes. So I need someone like Waddle who can separate down the field, can run those deep routes, uh, at a much higher level will be a huge benefit to the Lions' offense moving
Right.
forward, regardless of whether we have Andy Reid's, well, not Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy or Kafka, or whether we hire Matt Eberflus, Arthur Smith, wherever we want to go, adding that guy who can attack all 3 levels of a defense in
Yep.
2020 is critical. So But
Hey, Don Martindale, if you're watching, Detroit has conies, so like, you should come coach here.
love to see that. But honestly, though, we'll end up getting into coaches and stuff in a separate discussion.
Right.
I kind of want to wait on that, but at the same time, I've been doing a little bit of looking into that for other reasons other than Detroit. So, as we've seen, 2 coach firings already in week
Yikes.
6,
And a GM firing. We got 2-1 there with BOB.
2 GM firings
Oh yeah, you're right.
because Atlanta also fired Dimitrov.
Yeah.
So,
We got 2 whole regime wipes.
yep. So it'll be very interesting to kind of see some of the changes that play out. And I've thought about talking to some coaches and stuff over the course of the last couple days, but yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Learned a thing or two along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more, as I was starting to say a little while ago. We'll end up doing more over the course of the regular season as things play out. But for now, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace out. Very awkward end of the video.